Hey, this is April Reed here, and you're listening to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast, episode number 35. I am so excited about this episode because the guest on today's show is the one and only Molly Sapp, and she is a mindset strategist. It was really fun talking to Molly on this show, and what we got into is discussing mindset as it is for female entrepreneurs and male, if you're a male, and the importance of mindset and what all goes into mindset and the things that you need to know. As I mentioned before, Molly Sapp is a mindset strategist for high performance females. You can find her on Facebook, and I'll be sure to post all the links in the show notes. That's www.aprilreed.com/35. So you can find her if you want to learn more about her or check out her awesome freebie. Molly has helped numerous women go from 0 to multi-6 and 7 to even multiple 7 figures within the past 2 years of her business. She's overcome a binge eating disorder, several types of abuse, let go of several codependent relationships, and has helped others do the same as well. So I am very excited to dive into this episode. Let's just get to it, shall we?
Want to work less and sell more? Welcome to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast, the podcast to help you scale up and take your business to the next level with webinars that sell for you. Each episode focuses on the money mindset, online marketing, and sales strategies to get you more leads and convert leads to sales, all with webinars. And now your host, business and webinar strategist, April Reed.
Hey, thank you once again for coming into another show of the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast. I am so excited today because it's very few that I get to interview one of my mentors, and this is one of my biggest mentors ever, the one and only Molly Sapp. Yay!
Hi, that's so sweet.
The crowd goes wild.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, yes. So yeah, I hopped on this opportunity to interview you because I'm like, yeah. So thank you for being on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for having me.
Oh.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So for my listeners who may not know about you, can you kind of tell me how you got started in this area of mindset?
I will, definitely. Okay, so I had no idea what mindset coaching was. I still have a hard time explaining it to people. I grew up in the Christian church and I read the Bible religiously and very literally. And I was very much into make-believe and making dreams come true and living the life of your dreams and stuff like that. And notice how I got kind of cynical with it because I prayed every day, all day long till I was probably like 24 years old, and nothing that I wanted to happen. I just kept manifesting trauma after trauma after trauma. And it was pretty hard. It was really hardcore. And then around 23 or 24, I was wanting to pursue acting. And I realized that this whole walk with God thing, my upbringing, this spirituality just wasn't working. And so I was in Bali at an acting workshop, and I walked into a Hindu temple. And I had also read some of Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Own Life. And it was basically introducing the law of attraction. And it was like, this is what the Bible says, some of the Bible stuff, but it's taken out of that without the condemnation and stuff like that. And so I really was just like, this is the answer. If I want to have anything in my life, this is the answer. Like studying mindset. Like if I studied this, I would be the smartest woman on the planet because this would turn me into, if I wanted to have a successful business where people didn't know what the hell I did, pardon me, and just made a lot of money doing whatever, then I could do it because of my mindset. And sure enough, I just started studying the subconscious mind. I mean, I dove head into it like I was a mad scientist studying this stuff. And somehow I got rid of a binge eating disorder like within a day after starting my methodology that I use with my clients. And then I attracted my first boyfriend, and I finally got out there and started acting and attracted like 13 short films, 3 feature films, 2 commercials, like insane results in like 6 months. And then I got everything that I wanted for like 3 or 4 years, and then all hell broke loose.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, what's going on here? And so I dove deeply again and went deeper into the methodology and started studying archetypal psychology, character dynamics, and all this different stuff, and realized that I wasn't necessarily, nothing was moving with acting that I wanted it to. And anytime I went into a big audition, I would freeze, and I knew there was deeper mindset stuff going on. And so I was like, you know what? Everything in my life revolves around the fact that I have money issues. So I'm going to figure out how to use this mindset stuff to make money. And I'm just going to build a successful business because I need to learn how to be successful in order to do anything successfully. So I'm going to learn that and I'll figure it out. And so I just started doing a ton of mindset work on business and studying business like a mad woman, and ended up doing a lot of my money mindset work and started attracting, a mentor who said, go do mindset coaching. It's a skill, it's a skill you have. It's a skill you've been working on for 20 years. You can make a lot of money doing it. So that's what I did. And here we are.
Wow. Wow. What a journey.
Yeah.
What a journey. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it's so funny. I think I had like the similar where you read the Bible and it's like, okay. And then you start diving into mindset and it's like, oh, wait a minute. This was already in the Bible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I love that story. And the methodology, I love to dive that into more. But what kind of clients do you typically work with?
That's a good question. I was filling out some application and I was like, what kind of people do I actually work with? I work with, it's kind of like tiers. With my high level clients, it's high 6 to 7 figure earners, and they run online businesses or they're coaches or they're entrepreneurs of some sort wanting to start some sort of higher level company. Mid-range, like with my group programs and masterminds and stuff like that, we're looking at female entrepreneurs that have been in business in some way, shape, or form. Usually, I'd say 80% of it is online entrepreneurs. I'd say probably another 65 to 70% of those are coaches. So there's a lot of coaches that I work with, but there's also a lot of other types of entrepreneurs that have creative ideas and artistic and designers and stuff like that. And then I have the aspiring entrepreneur that doesn't know what they want to do, has some ideas, has big dreams, and they're trying to figure out what their purpose is and what they want to do.
Do you find those clients, the ones that don't know what they want, harder to coach or to work with?
It depends on their attitude, really. That's a good question.
Yeah. Because I had an episode a couple of weeks ago, like when people start a business, nobody says, okay, the first thing I'm going to invest in is mindset coaching. It's almost like you have to be knocked on your ass and lose and try and lose to get to that point to where it's like, maybe it's my mindset. And it sucks. It sucks.
You're absolutely spot on about that. Yes. Spot on.
Yeah. So you've been studying this for like 20 years. Is that right?
Since I was 8 years old, and I'm 33 now, so I can't do math right now. 24?
24 years. Okay. And then how long have you actually been coaching? Like you decided to do the mindset coach? Okay, 3. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So why do you feel that mindset is vital to being successful? Because I know you kind of introduced how you were able to get gigs and feature films, but really, why is it so vital to be successful?
That's a good question. Okay, so let's take out the woo-woo stuff, right? Let's take out the biblical stuff. Let's take out all the spiritual stuff. Okay. Abraham Lincoln, Aristotle, the greatest minds in the world up until this point all say your thoughts create your reality in some way, shape, or form. So my thought is, if I'm going to argue and say that they don't know what the hell they're talking about, I'm probably not going to learn the things that I need to learn. That's the first part. Second part is that I firmly believe that if you really can't live truly and not know that there's some other forces outside there besides the physical realm, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, you have to be I don't want to say delusional, but you have to be seriously pessimistic and not really paying attention to science and quantum physics and, a lot of stuff to not know that there's something outside of us that's creating the flow of the universe.
Right.
Number 3, it's kind of like if you pay attention, you'll notice that when you think about something, it'll happen, or that person that you were thinking about just pops up out of nowhere, or whatever those things might be. And so it's kind of like, okay, well, the greatest minds in the world say that this is true. And then you can kind of notice that that's in the universe, whether you're not paying attention to it or not. And then on top of it, it's kind of like, okay, well, if you really sit down to do business, if I'm sitting there with somebody who's wanting to market a product for the first time or wants to go into an audition, if they're honest with themselves, they do mindset work regardless of whether it's conscious or not, because it's like, okay, I need to be focused. Like, for example, this interview, I didn't take a lot of time to prepare because I'm like, I know how to just spit stuff out left and right about this stuff. But I did take a moment to go, okay, yeah, we're going to do this and I'm going to be focused and present. It took me 5 seconds, but it's because I've been doing this and it's, robotic for me.
Right.
But if I had just it was my first podcast interview or something like that, I would have probably sat for 5 to 10 minutes and breathed in and visualized or whatever. It's kind of like when you go on stage or you do a presentation, if you just run in there, most likely your presentation or something isn't going to be as good as if you take the time to clear and focus. So that's even a given there. Now, if you want to run a big successful business, it's like, or if you want to do some big project, I'm giving a really long-winded answer here, but it's like, and science says you have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind has all your belief systems and all the way that you think and stuff like that. So people will say, oh, when, the law of attraction is crap because you can't just sit there and think that a car is going to appear in your life and it does. That is crap because you have to take action, and there's a lot more to it than that. Based on to what I was saying with the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, if you dig into psychology and the way that the human brain is wired, you'll see that there's way more in-depth stuff that comes into, understanding the human psyche. So it's like there's a lot of stuff there. So if somebody wants to build a business on their own, when they've had a lot of trauma in their lives, when they've been abandoned, when they've had drama left and right, when they've been abused, bullied, told they can't do it their entire life. There's been so many scientific studies that talk about even animals changing the way that they behave by being told, loving things. It's kind of like there's so many stats, there's so many scientific studies that prove that thoughts create your own reality. So if you have all that past trauma and all those experiences, I would be hoping that somebody who wants to build a successful life or business would be smart enough to go, oh shit, pardon me, but I probably should get my head in the game to do something that's this big of a deal and I want to be super successful at it. That's what I would hope. And I tend to attract a lot of really amazing people because they are usually, they come to that conclusion of, oh, I need to get my head in the game. And that's when they come to me. It's either, they can either come to me quickly or when they've gone through everything else. And I hope from now that I start attracting women who figure it out sooner rather than later, because those are the women that are much easier to help because they're not so they've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're $100,000 in debt. They've proven over and over and over again to themselves that they're a failure, that it reminds them of stuff that happened in their childhood, or that they're like, I had all this success growing up, but now I'm building a business and I can't seem to have success. What's wrong with me? And so that takes, even weeks at a time to break that through so that they can actually think better, so they can believe that they can be successful. Does that all make sense? Did I say that?
Yes, it does. I would have took the opposite approach, that it was harder when people realize it more quickly.
Oh, really? That's
yeah.
How come?
Did you say how come?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Oh, I would think that if somebody quickly realizes that they need mindset work, maybe it would be harder to prove to them that they need mindset work. But the way you put it as, well, they've been through months and years of trauma and failures, and we'll just say business or even weight loss. You adding that proof over and over and over and over and over again, how they failed, Yeah, I didn't have that in the picture. And it's like, okay, yeah, I could see that. I could see how it would be harder now that you've said that somebody has the proof that they're a failure versus somebody doesn't have all those failures. So it's a lot easier for them to dive into the mindset work.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to bring an example up that, so I attracted this. She was my third client online in my business ever. And she was neurotic about, and she's still working with me to this day, neurotic about being successful. I mean, like if every woman on the planet could study this girl and her work ethic, we would all be billionaires. She's phenomenal. And I love her to death. And she'd never she had invested in so many different things and had just powerfully put together business and all this different stuff. And she goes, I've heard of mindset. I've never thought of getting a mindset coach, but maybe I need to buy a mindset coach or I need to invest in a mindset coach, because she was literally one of those that was buying everything left and right. But she was smart enough to get a mindset coach. And she was also my first client that went from 0 to $1 million in sales in 10 months. And is currently made like $400,000 last week. So, but she never had mindset training whatsoever, didn't understand it. But she also went through a period where she was like, had, 0 to $1 millionaire in 10 months and was like, whoa. And so we had to work on her going to this next level. Like if you remember with my explanation of how I got here, I got everything that I wanted. And then I was trying to figure out what the hell happened, and it didn't go to hell for her. But it was kind of like, once you get to a level, and some of your listeners may resonate with this, you can understand how to manifest things, and you can get to a level where you've manifested everything that you want. And then you can't seem to go past that ceiling. And so you're like, what's going on? Does it just not work for me anymore? And that means that you need help. You need some advanced level mindset coaching, because it's hard to get past that level, if that makes sense. And I really wish somebody would have said that to me when I was in that space, because it's hell to go through on your own. And it's just get help as fast as possible.
Oh gosh, yes. I tell my clients or my listeners, it's like, I don't think mindset is anything you do and then you're done. I think once you hit that, like it's steps or something, like once you hit that level, you have a whole new set of limiting beliefs and junk and other levels of things that you need to uncover. And you talk a lot about your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create your reality. I've heard that like a million times. And then when you said it, whenever it was, I was like, yeah, okay, I get that. But as I dive deeper and deeper into my own mindset, it was kind of like, hey, wait a minute. My thoughts create my own reality.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just crazy how you can hear the same thing over and over and over again, but there's a deeper and a different understanding, and then there's this awareness, like, oh, you mean I'm creating this crappy situation that I'm in?
Yeah.
And it's mind blowing. Like I love mindset. I love it.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. So I'm sure that it's the same steps, whether you want to become a millionaire or lose weight or find that the love of your life. But, since we're talking about business and webinars here for this podcast, I want to know, what steps does one take to attract the business that they want? Like, what mindset strategies do they have to do?
That's brilliant. Okay. So in terms of webinars, I'll just use webinars as an example. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say you came to me about, okay, I want to do a webinar and I want to be mentally in the game for it. Okay. So what I would do is I'm going to refer back to my methodology. Like I refer to it as a table with 3 legs. Now the table, like the thing that you would put all the drinks on and stuff, I don't know the label of it, is what do you want? So you want a webinar. Okay. Well, the first cardinal rule is you got to be specific. Okay. So you want a webinar. Okay. Well, do you want the webinar to, just be a webinar? Do you want the webinar to do well? How well do you want it to do? What do you want it to do? Where is it going to go? Give me some specifics. So if you said, I want my webinar to convert at 1 out of 3 or whatever the hell it is. So it's like, you want to basically build a, $100,000 a month business through.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. So let's say for my listeners, they want to hit that $10,000 level. So their first webinar is $10,000.
Okay. Okay, that simplifies it a hell of a lot. Now, see, that is a perfect example of what's going on. So you want to get very specific about that. So if you want to make $10,000 from a webinar, well, there's several different ways that you can do it. Several different ways. Now, if you're just starting out, you probably want to make the webinar as simple and as authentic as possible and get really good on your sales. So what's your offer? What are you offering? Are you, like there's a lot of different variables with what you're offering that don't even go into the mindset work. So this is going to get a little complicated, but you want to look at, okay, well, you're selling a product of some sort. What is the product? How many buyers do you need to have? And who do you want to attract as your buyers? That's 3 things right there. So, and you want to get very specific on all of those. Now, the next thing is how are you going to feel presenting your webinar? So how are you going to present yourself? What kind of energy do you want your buyers to feel from you? How many people need to see the webinar? And then the other thing that I would do is, if you're somebody who's going to be on, wherever, why would you watch a webinar about this? What would make you want to do the webinar? What would make you really want to watch it and stay through the whole thing? Have you looked at other webinars and have you actually sat through them till the end of the thing? And what were your pet peeves about them? Because I know from my end, when I watch webinars, I'm like rolling my eyes for 20 minutes because they don't get the actual meat of the
yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So it's like, if you whip out this webinar that's like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, well, okay, who the hell are you now? Tell me how can I buy from you? Versus let me tell you the whole winded script, blah, blah, blah. So you want to think about what's the most authentic in the sense of who are you in terms of wanting to do a $10,000 webinar or make $10,000 from it. And I would also say that if somebody came to me and wanted to just do a $10,000, make $10,000 from a webinar, I would say a foundation of your business needs to be created in the sense, because if you just wanted to do a webinar, and again, back to specifics, if you wanted to just, do a webinar and make $10,000, okay, well, there have been plenty of people out there who've done a webinar who've made $10,000 and never did anything else in their businesses, ever. So do you want to be that one-hit wonder? Do you want to be somebody who's like, is building her credibility with a reputation that's going to give her the ability to go on to make multiple 6-7 figures, whatever the hell she wants to do? So you want to get that backbone, that foundation of who you are, like all that energy coming into your webinar. Now, all of that energy and identity of you is shown up in that webinar. Then when you get clear on who you want to attract, the amount of people you want to attract, and why they're going to buy, and you being okay. And the last bit of this is one of the things that I really work on with clients is being open to receiving the money, being open to receiving the $10,000, because 9 times out of 10, what will happen is they'll think, oh yeah, I'm just going to launch and go and we're good to go. And they won't make the sales and they'll be like, what's going on? Okay. So it's mindset. Well, the best question to ask yourself very quickly is, if the money isn't coming in, there's a part of me that wants this reality of the money not coming in. Why is that? And what's scary on the flip side, what's scary about the $10,000 coming in? And there's usually a set of like, oh, well, that would mean I would be successful. That would mean that it's going to be unknown. That would mean I might leave my corporate job. That might mean whatever. And so the payoff is much, bigger for you to just be like, well, I launched a webinar and nobody bought. So now what? Does that make sense?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And you got us, the listeners, asking a lot of questions to get very specific about what we want. I mean, is that how you get that specific?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
I mean, so it's like I was on a phone with a client. I'm doing a coaching certification program.
Yes, and I'm in it.
I know. I'm so excited. And one of the things that I offer is a one-on-one call where I break down how I'm coaching them. And it usually is a format of, they give me like a download. They just start talking for the first 5 to 10 minutes. And so I see blocks and behaviors and, how they're going to transform right within that 5 to 10 minutes. But this woman was very, like, it literally took 15 minutes before I actually, it was like 30 minutes in and I still didn't know how much money she wanted to make. And I kept asking and asking and asking and asking and asking. And so the thing is, if you're really shy about letting what you want out there, you're going to have a hard time manifesting it. And there's a reason behind that.
Wow.
Whether it's being bullied, whether it's whatever. And so my job is to find out how you work so that I can pull that out of you. It's usually like an empowerment thing. Like, I'm scared of stating what I want, but it's kind of like, if you don't state what you want, how can we deliver it to you?
Yeah, this is an affirmations, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. That was wonderful. Okay. So one of my other questions is, okay, what are the top 3 things you wish someone, and you kind of already said one of these things, but what are the top 3 things you wish someone had said to you when you were just trying to start out with this whole mindset thing?
With the business or like studying mindset in general?
Yeah, with your business.
With my business? Oh, that's a good question. I would say harness your ability to listen to your intuition and make your number one focus. Yeah, this is kind of like one in this same. Make your number one focus being able to get in alignment every day at a moment's notice to be able to sell however much money it is that you want to make that day. If you focus on that, everything else will fall into place. Number 2, the type of business structure that you want for your business is probably going to be the exact opposite of what you really need and what's the best fit for you. So stay open and stay in prayer and meditation to get the download for the business model that works for you. Number 3, be aware that you're going to attract things that are going to be hard and challenging, that are going to like kick you to your knees, to test you, to teach you how to handle levels of business and sustainability in business. And it's going to turn you into a really remarkable person. And when you're in those challenges, put your head down and journal like it's nobody's business about how it's going to push you forward and how it's going to make you into a better person. Because in that state of intensity of that moment, when you really believe that, you will make magic and mountains happen in your life and in your business and create cathartic change with your clients and impact in ways that you've never dreamed of before.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Just take a couple of minutes. What kind of results? So somebody puts this into practice. And I know you have a Facebook group. Do you have a Facebook page?
I do. My Facebook ad account got shut down. And yeah, it was like back in, I got hacked. That's another thing. I got hacked badly in December. And so one of the things that happened was my ad account got shut down. And so I'm literally building a new page right now. I'll send you the link for that. But I do have a Facebook group. It's called High Performance Female. And I can't remember what else you were going to ask me.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask, okay, so somebody joins your group and they do the strategies that you teach in your group, which are phenomenal, by the way.
Thank you.
What can the typical entrepreneur, just starting out with this whole mindset thing, what kind of results can they begin to see?
That's a good question. It depends on where they're at and it depends on their mindset. Like when people come to me, they're like, what can you guarantee? And I'm like, I can't guarantee anything because I don't know where you're at, you know, like, and how you're going to shift. And even if I got on the phone with you for an hour, I don't know, because I don't know if you're going to make the decision to shift. What they can find is that there have been numerous amounts of people that have gone through my free content, told me that they've had surprise $1,000 days, $5,000, $10,000. I had a woman who had a $26,000 tax return come in from my free opt-in. I'll put that link. I'll send that link to you too.
Okay.
You know, one of my free opt-ins, it was, and I still have it, it's how to manifest $15,000 in 24 hours. And I just literally, I had a woman in my Facebook group ask, how do you manifest a lot of money in a very short period of time? And I was at the grocery store and I read it and I was like, oh boy. Okay. So I came home and just sat on my couch and turned on my camera phone and did like 75 minutes worth of my own mindset work to manifest $15,000. And I've had hundreds of people say that they've manifested an extra $1,000 to $25,000. So I'm not saying that that's going to happen for everybody. Major disclaimer, I can't guarantee anything whatsoever. But I do think that when we come to people's work, if we know that they've had a lot of results, we can think positively that maybe we can too.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer your question?
Oh, yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So if somebody wanted to get more help with the whole mindset process or, manifesting a specific income in their business, what services do you offer them?
I do a lot of different stuff. Right now I do one-on-one coaching, and then I have boot camps that are 6 weeks long and gives like a lesson a week type deal. And we do group calls. As of right now, you get one-on-one time with me on a group call. Then I have mastermind where it's usually girls that I've worked with either in a boot camp or in some way, shape, or form. And that's 6 months to a year. And they usually work with me for at least a year. And that's a lot more one-on-one attention with me. And we do, in-person things together. And they work with my tapping practitioner as well. And then I do, depending on, because I travel a lot, I've been in like 7 different places in the past 3 or 4 months. I'll just, let people know that I'm in a certain area. If they want to do an in-person intensive, I do those sometimes. And I have some products and services, but that's pretty much it right there.
Okay, awesome. So people can get in touch with you. What's your website?
It's mollysapp.com.
Okay. And then we're going to put your freebie, which was mollysapp.com/manifest-fast. We'll put that in the show notes. We'll put your website in the show notes and a link to your group.
Cool.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, that was fun. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it a lot.
I feel like a lot of people are going to have breakthroughs and be contacting you once this airs. So fabulous.
Thank you. I'm like, did I talk too much? I always talk too much.
No, you're fine.
But I always have those interviewers. I don't know about you personally, but I've had some people say, no. I can always edit shit. Keep going.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I have a podcast editor. So
yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. So I will talk to you later. Thanks so much again, Molly.
Thank you, dear. I really appreciate it being on here. Have a great day, hon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Have you been liking this podcast and all the webinar strategies that you're receiving? Well, I want to tell you about my new membership site. Maybe you're just a coach, consultant, or other service-based business owners like a VA or a graphic designer, and you really want to add webinars into your marketing mix so that you can sell your high-ticket coaching program or your high-ticket offers. The top 3 things that I hear from coaches, consultants, and service-based business owners is that they don't know what to teach on the webinar, so they're struggling with learning what their topic is going to be. They are technophobes, so they're scared about all the tech, and webinars seem complicated. Well, I'm happy and proud to say that the new membership site is going to address all 3 of those issues and a whole lot more. So if you're looking for the support and the accountability that you need to finally get your webinar in front of the eyes of hundreds and even thousands at an affordable price, then go to www.aprilreed.com/waitlist. Enrollment is open only 2 times per year. So what are you waiting for? And I can't wait to see you there.
Thanks for listening to the Webinar Hustlers Entrepreneur Podcast at www.aprilreed.com.